Thank you, Madam Chair. First, I want to thank you for coming today, and I'm sorry. Um, One of the things, I've heard a lot of problems with this puppy mill issue, and I understand what you're saying is, look, you can define any pet shop the way you want to define it. And I support this concept of having to address this issue of puppy mills, the true puppy mills. And so I'm behind this bill to address that issue. But at the same time, from everything I'm hearing and from your advocacy and others, it seems like this concept would really be devastating to the pet store community. And also, from what I'm hearing, is that in an odd way, it would actually reduce some regulations. Because if you're getting it from the animal rescue, and this is something that I learned today, and this is the reason why we have these public hearings, because you're the experts on these issues. And so I'm happy that you've come in to testify. And so, I mean, maybe you want to just elaborate on that, how getting these animals from the animal rights organizations in some respects would actually reduce some of the regulations.
Oh, absolutely. Like you've heard testimony already, that these are already coming from puppy mills. There are puppy mills that are breeding for retail rescue now, and that means rescue organizations. So to pass a law and ask us to get this is not protecting the customer, and is not going to put us into a world where everybody's going to embrace us that we're doing this. But on other hand, it's going to affect our customer base. We depend on these purebred puppies that are regulated from USDA established breeders. That's the type of people that we have that come in already. Not only that, it's the reason why I say that this is not going to work for us, and it would put us out of business, is number one, we're not going to get into that rescue business. Our puppies right now create a high traffic, and they're spending hours in our store learning and getting educated about the different breeds. And these are all young, full-bred puppies. Without this traffic, we've lost sales, because this still drives the sales of them coming in and going out. And then, as I also say, using 2 out of these 20 that I've already reached out for is well, I don't know what I'm going to get, and I'll have to take whatever I can get, but it's not going to keep us in business either. Then on top of it, we have to compete with them, collect the tax, warranty the animals. I mean, it's just not a good business model. It's a setup for failure, and that's just what we'll do. But, yeah.
Do you mind if I elaborate a little bit, if that's okay? The concern about, you're absolutely right about what this would do to the regulation that Connecticut currently has. So right now, all of the information that is available to any consumer that goes into a pet store, not at time of purchase, anytime they're in the store, would just not be able to be available to these people. So now you're talking about going into a rescue or going into a store with a rescue animal, and there's no information on, where they came from. There's no information on how they were transported. There's health information as required by Connecticut and the Department of Health, but as we've seen as nearby as New Hampshire and as recently as in Kansas, that's very easily incorrectly provided. In Kansas recently, on Monday, there was an incident of rabies coming from a rescue, even though they had all of the health paperwork they were required to have. In New Hampshire, there was an incident where puppies at a rescue event were around humans and other animals and had a bacterial infection. Both of these things are really easily spreadable to humans. But without this health information that the pet stores are all currently required to have, you're still requiring them to follow the warranty law that Connecticut has, but you're not allowing them to have any kind of way to verify the health of the animal in the same way they can now with these breeders they've built relationships with over time. So you are taking away regulations in the sense of the information that is known about the animal and the information and the protections that you're providing to consumers.
Thank you for your testimony. Thank you, Madam Chair. Just quickly, again, today these are concepts, not bills yet. These are the reason why we have these public hearings, is to gain this information. That's why it's so critical to have you here and to provide your testimony. regardless if it's pet stores or if it's other avenues, there are puppy mills, and we do need to address them. And my hope is that we can work collaboratively with the pet stores, like we did 5 years ago, and make something happen to address both issues. Because oftentimes I find that, you know, pet store owners are just as much animal lovers as anybody else. And so we want to make sure that we address these issues together, and I really hope that we can work in a collaborative fashion. Both pet store owners, animal rights groups, and my legislative colleagues. So thank you so much for coming up. Thank you for your testimony.
Thank you.